theme set up for folks.
We're not live yet.
Oh yeah, we are.
Oh, Melon.
Yeah, we're live on Melon
I
today.
forgot about that, so I don't even need to go live on this.
Not really, no.
Shit,
No,
I
you
forgot.
shouldn't need to.
You're right. Oh.
So I don't know if I see my microphone to be. Hi, Dwight.
A little louder.
Pretty sure now I'm not here. We're not here.
Not yet.
Oh, yeah. I wonder what, though, because if you're not using that thing for your audio,
Boop.
we said you could hear us earlier. Let's see here. Okay, so let me say input. Oh yeah.
I guess we're not even using Switcher. I forgot we're using this Melon app.
oh, okay. So then how do we get the mixer audio in Melon?
Can't we
Can we-
just...
Like, we need to we need to have our headphones plugged into that somehow, or like how do we plug to computer audio?
Poopy.
This audio so the headphone out of this guy here should be going into y'all's headphones here.
Is there a level for the guest? There was one of those turned down, or like?
Let's see here. Let's turn that up. So that should be your guest audio. Display. Sorry, the switcher cast is.
I'm sorry, Dwight, if you can hear us. It says I haven't been added. Wait. Oh, I can hear and see you. It just says I haven't been added yet. Well, what the hell? Well, hold on one second, Dwight. I will get you on here. ASP.
ASP.
ASP. What I said. ASPA.
ASPA?
ASPA. ASPA.
No.
It means as soon as availability possibility.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
it's
there's
ASAP. ASAP.
ASAP. Yeah. As soon
that's how-
as possible.
That's how the general public refers to it, Vernon.
ASAP.
ASAP.
It's my new favorite
Ass
song
up.
from Mr. Locks. He likes the ass up.
Ass up. Oh, let's get this
Get the
done.
girls
Ass
with
up.
the ass ups. My name is Sir
No,
Mix-a-Lot.
face down,
Ass up. Oh, ass up. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, duh.
So
We know that anthem, don't
if
we?
you
Vern?
face down. Oh.
That was a hot track in 2003.
2001. Yep.
I know, because I was pregnant in 2003.
So you were like, my belly little laid hello. And I know.
No,
No.
oh, different song.
Yes.
Different song.
All right. So all I know is that if we're live now, you can see as we're still getting things kind of like set up. Our gym guys working. We're working great.
Yep.
I apologize to our guest Dwight, who can see and hear us,
Hello, Dwight.
but you can't talk to us right now.
That's right. He's muted.
It says he hasn't been added yet, but I know that's my phone. Or that's your phone. That's your phone. It looks like lightsaber.
Woo! Ready? They're like the weakest lightsaber. It's like
It's like-
static.
It's like lightsabers that don't have any energizer power
Oh,
to
it's
it.
not doing it anymore.
Oh,
I did it.
I need to go back to the phone. Okay. So, White hasn't been added yet. Hold on here. Let me see something.
But you're saying this. I'm not sure how to mux the audio together into your
Well, how do you-
with your camera with
Show on stream.
that camera without switcher.
I'll tell you, I think Melon should use this as an advertisement.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, there it is.
Hey. Oh. There.
What's up?
Well, we can hear him.
We need him now.
Can hear me now, and I can see you now, and I can hear you
Well,
too.
But
Hi.
but here, we only see me on the camera. We got just the camera.
What?
So we can only see me.
Good.
Yeah, because the camera you're using is that one
Okay.
right now. So you're not using the switcher camera, which is this one here.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
We're on
and
a
then the audio
split
from this
screen.
board actually
Jeez.
goes
Split
into
screen.
switcher. It doesn't go into.
Now
So
we
the
can-
the audio that you guys are listening to right now, or that you're transmitting out, is not going into here. It's going into the microphone that's in there.
Oh, okay. Oh.
So I'm not really sure how you sound. I could take a listen.
So do I need to like? I've got my microphone here. Is that my microphone?
Oh.
What I need?
My
Or-
thought was,
Well, how do we sound? Do we sound far away, Dwight?
No, you sound good.
Okay.
All right.
Do we sound like crisp and clear for you?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Do we
Okay.
sound crisp and glover
Well, here,
for you?
let me. I don't know if anyone can hear us as well.
I was hoping for the
Weird.
Crispin Glover impression. I've heard the
good.
Vern will bust out a mean Crispin Glover.
That's
what
what
I've
he
heard.
does.
Just
That's
Crispin-
the word on the street.
The only thing I know about Crispin Glover, how he sings, is like, is it, he did that one cover of "These Boots Are Made for Walking."
Oh, that's
What? He did what?
Yeah. Crispin Glover did a cover of "These Boots Are Made for Walking,"
really
and he does this voice with this. So this is my impersonation of Crispin Glover covering
okay. Here it comes.
"These Boots Are Made for Walking."
I'm like so excited for this. I don't think I've ever experienced something quite like it.
Okay, I need a little bass line
Okay.
there. You keep saying you got something for me. Something you don't love but confess. You keep saying something that goes crying. And all of you got is something off your chest. These boots are made for walking. And that's just what they'll do. And one of these days, these boots will sort of walk all over you. That's
Wait a minute. Widen that camera up. You didn't tell me Crispin Glover was coming in here. Where is he?
He had to run to the toilet. He
Yeah.
had some bad.
It sounded like he needed to actually.
He was having. Yeah, he's feeling verklempt.
The clips.
That was
Sure.
great.
Sure.
We're moving there.
You're gonna move that table.
More table here.
You're gonna move me. Well, let's not wreck the chair.
Whatever, it's
For
chair.
the love of cripes. Hold on, I'll scooch.
There
Scoochy.
you go.
Scoochy. Nope.
You know, maybe
See?
one thing too is we actually see what we look like on the actual live.
It was the wrong direction. It cut you out more. There you go.
That was the plan. What do you mean? That was the wrong direction. That was exactly what I wanted to happen.
Get you
Hold on.
in.
Hold on,
You know,
there I am.
camaraderie.
Hold on.
There we
That
go.
was nothing but boobs for a minute.
Yeah,
Sorry. Or am I?
That's our new OnlyFans channel.
That's right.
Yeah.
No, fuck Vern. He
Yeah,
doesn't
see.
get to see nothing.
No. Yeah. I'll watch it later. No.
Vern's like, I'll
You know, there's multiple revenue streams for a podcast. I understand,
Yeah.
you know,
That's right.
but
We gotta
I'm not
work with
here
what we
to
got.
judge, but you know.
Thank you.
whatever.
Well, welcome, Dwight.
Hello, Dwight. I'm Ashley.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Hi,
Hold on.
Ashley. Nice to meet you.
I'm good. You met my boobs before you met me.
Yeah,
Let me see. Well, look at you. Why, hello, sir. For a moment, you were just a person, a blurry person, and now I can see you. I see you.
Dwight is our.
I see you.
I feel
Dwight.
like a blurry person sometimes.
I
It's
feel like
true.
a blurry person a lot of
I'm
times.
a blurry person mostly all the time. Is what I am.
Yeah.
So
Well, it
I-
happens.
I'm
Okay.
just checking things
Blurry
here.
persons is a pretty decent name for a podcast. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, if we want to spin off something or do a Patreon
Blurry
only
people.
for everybody, yeah.
Are you on YouTube or?
Yeah, we're on YouTube. If you go to our crack, we should be on our crackhead group too. So
It should be.
I have never used Melon before.
I have
as
not. Well, we used
a
it
program.
late
but-
last time.
Yeah.
And
I-
don't
this-
know what-
I think the first 3 minutes of this broadcast could be a good advertisement for them.
Yeah. It's pretty good so far, you guys.
I just want to make sure that we are live on all
What is-
places.
I'm going to check that.
You want to check it?
Oh, shit. Look what I did, Vern.
What'd you do?
Well,
Well, hell,
hey.
that is much better.
That's right,
What'd
that's-
you do?
Oh, the fucking magic, baby.
You are a match
Look at
person.
that.
That's right. Look, see.
Look, that's a
Now you
real,
can-
real professional gallery
right.
pictures
That's-
for all of
that's-
us.
That's called being a producer, bitch.
That's pretty slick.
It's
Look
my
up.
one job.
You do that job well.
I know. Thank you.
So hi, we're live here, Cinema Recall Podcast. I am of course Vern. That's my wonderful, beautiful co-host / producer, Ashley
Cheers.
Yurok.
Hi. Yurok. Yurok.
I
It's
can say
now.
Yurok now. Before I
Yeah.
say Ashley Olam Yurok,
That's fucking right.
and now it's just
Drop that first one.
yes,
Drop it.
just Ashley Yurok.
That's right. It's
Because-
official, bitch.
I'm freaking loving that.
You see anything here? That's right.
Oh, it's
I
done.
haven't had anything there for a long time.
Yeah, true. Yeah. So
To be fair, I lost it a long time ago. It's fine.
our special guest this week is Dwight Hurst of the Broken Brains
I'm gonna
podcast.
point this way.
Hi,
He's over
everybody.
here. Hi.
Hi. Welcome.
Just it's amazing. I love your studio and how it has this different wall background, but it's nice to be here physically in the studio with you guys.
Hey,
Post COVID.
if we do nothing, if we don't do anything right, we do one thing right. Set design.
Set design. See,
I built that for you. You
she
are
did.
with my own.
It makes me feel
hands.
at home. It's a lot like the backdrop I'm
should.
usually in front of. Yeah.
Yeah, it should. It
You
should,
guys do
because
your
you sent me a
research. That's what I
picture.
can say.
You sent me
Yeah.
a picture, and I did my best. See that clock back there? I made that.
She did.
Saran wrap and some old
It's pretty
toothpicks.
good. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
It's better, even better than a virtual background.
I thought so. You are welcome.
Wow. On the cinema
Nothing
recall.
but the best. Nothing
Every-
but the best.
I think it's every podcaster's dream to join the cinema recall. That's at least, that's what
It
they
should
say.
be.
Well,
Out
I will
on
say
the
this.
streets.
It should be out on the streets.
Yep,
dangerous out there.
out in these streets.
Danger-
That's what they're saying.
Dangerous, Dwight.
Well,
Go
because
home.
big shout out to Chris Revel.
Honestly,
of
I
Let's
thought
Chat.
he was saying bitch.
No,
I
it's-
thought so
no.
too.
It was like,
I thought that was just
bitch,
me.
This is a bitch shout out.
No, no.
Fuck you, Chris Revel.
I was like, that's a new feature on the show.
It's the bitch shout out.
The Vern's
No,
bit
not-
shout out. Wow.
My
You
new
guys had
thing
me
now?
on the show
Oh,
and
God.
it all goes
What
to
are you
hell.
looking for?
My phone.
You've
That-
already lost it.
I lost my phone.
You want me to call you?
Oh shoot! This
You want me to call you?
This is
It's
a
all right,
big
Vern.
thing.
My
Oh, I bought it,
understanding
I bought it.
is
I
you're
bought it,
due
I
for
bought
an
it.
upgrade. So
I do. Oh no, you're just. I got.
No, he did get a new phone recently. Didn't you, Vern?
I did.
Isn't that a newer phone?
Yes. All right. Cool. I'm on. All right. I found my phone.
Yay, he found it.
We're good. All right.
Nice.
Hey, and we are live. Okay. Cool. All right. I just want to make sure that we're live. I don't know why we're not live on the Facebook.
wouldn't it be great if we weren't?
I thought we were.
Listen, if we're not live on Facebook,
Are we really alive at all?
We're about
it's
12
almost
minutes
8
in.
yeah,
No,
We're not
look,
even.
It's fine.
It's not
it's
going
fine.
anywhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
People who use Facebook are in bed already.
They're
So
probably true. Fair enough. All right.
I should
So-
know.
Well, Chris. Speaking of Chris Revel, he and I have.
Speaking
We've
of
talked
Chris
often.
Revel.
We've talked often about how we really shouldn't be speaking unless we're recording.
yeah,
Just
that's
the
what I told Vern.
podcaster's way.
True. Yeah.
That's what I told
That's
Vern. I
fair.
was like, we need to stop having conversations. We have to be recording all the
All
time,
the time.
because all of our good shit happens
Yeah.
like before we even start.
We do.
That's where all of our good, shitty, amazing banter happens.
All the fun, Georgia stuff there too.
That's right.
All right. So, Dwight, since this is your
Yes.
first time on the Cinema Recall
It's your
podcast,
first time.
we'll be gentle. All right. But
Yeah, that's right.
just wanted to
Will
say,
we though?
well, we'll be gentle at first, but just
Okay.
tell everyone out there in podcast land and who's ever listening and watching just a little bit about the Broken Brains podcast. Plug
Well,
away.
thanks. Yeah. The Broken Brain podcast is one that I started it years ago. It's basically a look at culture and psychology, pop culture, but hopefully not pop psychology. But that probably sneaks in there too sometimes. So I'm a therapist by trade, and so I opened up the podcast to talk about some of the different things that if you take a look at the world through a psychological lens, what's interesting about it. And that's kind of broadened out to incorporate almost basically anything that's interesting and anything that has to do with human beings and also just mental health. We talk a lot. It's a fun show because some weeks we may talk about trauma or addiction recovery, and then the next week we might talk about Miss Marvel or Moon Knight or something like that. So
Cool.
we do a lot. And you've been on gosh, I can't remember if you've been on the Broken Brain proper. You've been on the Patreon show.
Yes,
with
for the
Chris.
Patreon show. Yep, did that. I know we
Yeah.
did some sort of combined episodes of Let's Chat.
We got to
but
get you on there. Yeah.
Well, actually, you should probably get Ashley on the show
Oh,
before me
yeah, that's
Yeah.
probably true.
because you're a psychologist therapist.
I'm a massage therapist, and I hear people's
There
things.
you go.
See, I hear
Yeah.
a lot of their things.
Well, it's not a mutually exclusive. I can have you both on there.
Okay.
It should be mutually exclusive.
I just I need to have just me.
I don't want.
I don't
to
share the spotlight.
It's gonna be it'll be like one of these surprise confrontations. Oh,
That's right.
What you don't know is I have the Vern on the other line.
No!
Oh.
How dare you? I refuse.
We're
It'll
gonna
be a
have to-
reunion special. We'll pretend that you guys are fighting and you haven't spoken since the last
Oh,
recording.
that would be. I mean, that's about right.
Yeah, we kind of do fight all the time. So, but that's perfect. But before we actually, do get into our topic, our topic is going to be all about kind of trigger warnings and content warnings. I do gotta give a quick little shout out to these wonderful cats who shared our last episode. Our last episode was with guest Coral and Jewel of the High Profile Life podcast. So thank you to these gents for sharing that episode. So no special order. I want to say thank you to Shot and Applaud podcast.
Nice.
Jeanette Mickenham at AK Jeanette. The boys over at the Film Rage podcast. The Blood.
What? The Film Rage?
The Film Rage.
They're raging?
They're raging.
Yes!
Those cats are
I love
wonderful.
it.
They give us a shout out right there.
I just like the name.
I appreciate
That's a
that.
good name.
The names people come up with for podcasts are really interesting.
Yeah. Thank you to the Blood and Black Rum podcast. Thank you to the Mallard Report. And thank you to Great Cafaro for shared episodes.
Sweet.
Big shout outs right now to the Vintage Video podcast for posting one of her ad spots on one of the latest episodes.
That's
so
cool.
Thank you very much for that.
We sure do appreciate
I
you.
see you now.
Well,
and then
Vern always has all this information, and then he rattles it off, and that's great. But I'm sitting here going, it's really nice.
We gotta get you on board. We're gonna get you on more shows, Ash. But I was a recent guest.
I'm saying you have all these notes, and I
barely.
He's
took
like,
any
let me
notes.
do these shouts. I'm like, we are doing that?
Yeah, we do
Cool.
shout outs. Yep, people shout
They
outs.
did that?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Wow, that's super nice.
I was a
Those
recent.
people are great.
They're great. I was shout right now to the podcast in the woods. Boomer and Gabby had me on their show to talk about the movie Raw.
Oh,
there's the movie Raw.
No, in my brain I'm thinking Fresh, but that's not the same clearly. But
in a way it is kind of connected.
Similar. Okay.
Similar themes. Raw is about a girl who's going to a veterinarian college, and before she gets there, she's been raised to be a vegetarian. Like her parents won't allow her to eat any meat, to the point that when she's at a cafeteria, before they actually drive her to the college, they find a piece of like hamburger and the potatoes, and the mom like freaks out.
Yeah.
Right. So you're thinking, why is she not allowed to eat meat?
Right.
Well, turns out that after a night of hazing, her older sister gives her like a rabbit kidney.
Oh. The mom?
No, the sister at the college.
Oh. Gotcha.
And the young girl starts to develop a taste of human flesh.
Human flesh?
Yes.
After eating a rabbit kidney?
Yeah, it starts with rabbit, and then she starts eating chicken, and then it develops. But it's also... It's
natural.
Also,
like it always does.
You know what?
A story about a woman.
It's a gateway meat.
It is that rabbit.
Yeah, it's also a coming of age story of a woman, discovering sex for the first time,
getting her period, being low on iron.
Yeah, see.
Yeah, needing vitamin B,
but
not getting enough. So she's like, I know what I'll do.
Yeah. Yeah. See. Oh, hey, that's good Norwegian. That's good Norwegian meat right there.
Good Norwegian meat.
That's right. Good Norwegian.
It's okay if you like the taste of.
If I had a nickel for every time I heard someone say that, man, if I had a nickel for every time I heard someone say that at the gym when they're, strengthening their forearms, good Norwegian meat.
Good Norwegian meat.
Yes.
That's just gym speak for forearm muscles, I think.
That's right. Yep.
So shout out to the podcast in the woods, and my episode with the franchise detours should be posted very shortly. Crooked Table Productions franchise detours should be happening this Friday. My episode on Muppets Take Manhattan.
Oh, that should be good.
Should be popping around there soon.
That's right. We like our Muppets and our puppets over here.
We do.
Yep.
Vern, you are just out in these streets with the podcast appearances.
Yeah,
awesome. Yeah.
And
he's a podcast whore.
And then and also we did recently record and release our latest episode of Tales from the Double R, which is a Twin Peaks podcast that I'm recording with Ryan Luis Rodriguez, formerly of the Coolness Chronicles. He's still part of Wheels of Justice podcast, but me and him play detectives at the Double R Diner, and we're going through each episode of Twin Peaks. But while there, we're going to be solving a mystery
Yep.
inside the show.
Yep.
And our good co-host Ashley is submitting her voice talent
That's right.
to the show as
cool.
well.
Just little old me.
But yeah,
Just doing a little.
Ryan's
little
in that,
bit of
you
voice
said?
acting.
Ryan Luis
Nice.
Rodriguez. Yeah.
Hold on, I'm
Oh,
gonna fix this
wonderful.
for you. Ugh,
So that's just really
So much
quickly,
better.
just those the two little shows, and then
that's like right in your face. Sorry.
I gotta
You're
get
fine.
Ryan. I had all the Reels of Justice dudes on my podcast recently, but Ryan couldn't make it, so
oh
he
no,
and I got to set a time to have him come on.
yeah, shout out
and,
to like Dylan Schlender and Ben Hassler and
Go on.
Rob Maynard,
Look at you.
Oh, good old Rob. Hi,
and
Rob.
Ryan.
Mr. Rainer.
Yeah, I think I said everyone there. Ben
Yeah.
Hassler, Dylan Schlender.
I think you've touched everyone's name.
Okay.
Yep.
If I forgot anyone,
Now I want you to
apologize.
name the
I'll
top
flog him
5.
later.
Name the top 5 favorite guests on that podcast that you have. Ready?
Yeah.
What, on my
And-
show?
Go.
Oh goddamn! Don't now produce that. Well, I'll put Chris Revel on there because he's a wonderful human being. He's a
No,
good
on the
cat.
Reels of Justice, your
Reels of
favorite guests.
Justice.
Yeah. You can put yourself on though.
Oh, I've been an awesome guest in Reels of Justice.
Burns like
I-
gives him. He loves
I think
himself.
you
I've
did you
won
win
twice.
both times? Yeah, I
No,
won twice
okay, no,
as well.
you did. What
Yeah.
were your movies?
Age of Ultron
Yes.
and Constantine.
Oh,
both great
nice. movies.
Were you supporting them or were you
Defense.
throwing him into
yeah,
the draft?
No, I
Okay.
defended them both successfully.
Why do you even have to defend Constantine?
Yeah.
Who doesn't like that
Well,
movie?
Was that what you consider
So
bad?
good. Tilda Swinton.
Some
Woo,
people,
baby.
it sits there. From what Schlender told me, they, anything that sits in like the 60 to 75% on Rotten Tomatoes is their sweet spot. So,
Mm.
people
That's
there
the
to where there are
sweet
people
spot.
who really don't like it, and there are people who really like it. So,
You know what movie
Yeah.
I just bought from? Speaking about Keanu Reeves, you know what movie I just bought from? That had Keanu Reeves in it that I've not seen in a while.
Johnny Mnemonic.
Yes, good job.
No
yes.
way, really?
Yep.
I
It
was
was at,
guessing the worst Keanu Reeves movie I could think of.
I was gonna say Cliffhanger, whatever.
That's Sylvester Stallone.
What's the one where he's surfing?
Point Break.
That's the one.
Point
They
Break.
all-
Yes.
They're all the same.
They're not the same.
They're kind of the same.
Cliffhanger is set in the Alps and mountains.
But it's like
Point Break has surfing.
okay, but
And
they're
bank
both
robbery.
alternative sports. They're both alternative sports.
Yes, they're alternative sports. and
Okay.
They both have to do with bank robbery.
See?
So I can
Okay.
see the confused.
All right.
Right?
There's
So
a
I
bank
know it's
robbery and
close.
cliffhanger.
There's a heist that happens in that movie.
Really?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
the heist of Sylvester
I didn't remember that.
Stallone's sleeves.
No. Oh, no, that's not the biggest.
They're
So-
gone. Oh, somebody took my
They are missing.
check
It's
this out.
true. I hope that's the
Mhm.
mystery you and Ryan are going to solve in the Twin Peaks
It
diner.
is.
Yeah, so,
Yes.
but check this out. Okay, so do you remember the movie Stop Where My Mom Will Shoot
Yes.
Yes.
with
Estelle Getty, baby.
and Sylvester Stallone?
That's right.
So here's the cool thing, and shout out to the Cinema Snob for discovering this fact. So
This is gonna be good.
apparently, take the train.
Okay. Side note. Wait. Vern's been on a real tangent with saying apparently, and it started a couple episodes ago, and I'll just start putting up fingers.
Mm.
And I
All
said
right.
it should be a drinking game, but I think that would be unhealthy.
So
People would
You don't
get
want
way too
alcohol
drunk.
poisoning
That
for
word.
people.
Yeah, I
got
don't want
you,
that
yeah.
on my hands. No thanks.
So there was rumors that there's a script going on of Stop Where My Mom Will Shoot, and Arnold Schwarzenegger was rumored to say that he really wanted to do this project.
Mm-hmm.
Sylvester Stallone hears this and jumps on the project right away before Schwarzenegger can. Not realizing that Schwarzenegger just did that as a joke so that Stallone will take the project off his hands.
That's funny.
He basically, Schwarzenegger just trolled
Yeah,
Stallone
he used
do that.
reverse psychology
because
like you would
Nice.
on a
Nice.
meat head.
Because he was like, oh my gosh, look at this. Stop at my mom will shoot. I must take that role. I want that role so
Arnold
badly.
Schwarzenegger's like,
Wait a minute. Is Crispin Glover in the studio?
he's back. He is, yeah.
I know he doesn't mean
Yeah.
Crispin Glover famously doesn't mean Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Yeah.
so I
Yeah.
assumed it
He
was
does.
him.
That was it. Actually, I think he was trying to do Stallone. Was that a Stallone?
Oh,
Yeah.
that was Stallone.
No,
And-
it's
and
Sorry.
Arnold
totally
was
my.
like- Arnold would probably be more like I don't really want to do this movie, so I'm gonna pretend I really want to do it. So this guy does it.
Yes.
terrible,
That's better. That's even better than mine. That's good.
So bad.
You
So,
got
yeah,
you did get the nasal overtone of the you got it.
That's all I
Yeah.
have. That's all I have. All I can do is Maria, get down. There's a bomb.
I
That's all
want to
can
be in
do.
this movie. Yeah.
I want to be in this movie. Maria, we need more frosty.
Maria.
Psych.
Maria.
I want to be in this movie.
I
Psych.
wanted to be in this movie. Psych.
All right, but I
That is
did
hilarious.
go. Okay, so I do have a list of movies.
I bet you do.
That's a bad segue, but I do have a list of
Speaking of terrible movies,
yes. Oh,
we have a list.
I did see a couple new movies. I did see the movie. We did go see Nope.
We saw Nope.
How is it?
I would be on the Reels of Justice. I would be in the defense.
And I would definitely be on the other side of
The
court.
prosecution.
I would be on the
Oh.
prosecution.
Yeah.
But don't get me wrong. I love Jordan Peele's other works. I really love Get Out. Us was kind of that was less, but I thought Nope was a little bit worse.
No, it was good.
I just did not really get into any of the characters in this. I found the scene with the monkey to be the most fascinating of the whole movie.
Yeah.
Then I've got issues.
He
I
was
haven't
laughing
seen
in
it.
that scene.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
That's
I've
cool.
heard good things from people that I usually would agree with, and so I don't know yet if
I mean-
Ashley and I are those people that would usually agree. But
Probably.
maybe we'll find out if I see it. But
Oh, we'll find out.
yeah,
mean,
so I don't know.
it's-
But other people that I know have the similar taste of me have liked it. So I don't know.
I mean, I love the way that it was shot,
Yeah, it was shot beautifully.
and the actors are all very wonderful.
And I'm not saying it's perfect. Like, the main character, I don't get his motives for how he behaves or why he is the way he is. Like, they don't really get into that.
Mhm.
And, like, why the child actor and now amusement park owner, like, why did he go into the business that he's in? So, like, I'm not saying it's perfect, but I was
I guess,
like, there were a few parts where I was like, nope.
yeah.
And then I turned to Vern. I go, well, that didn't take very long. Didn't take very long for me to start yelling out.
I think my
the name
issue
of the movie.
with the movie is that it advertises itself as like this horror movie
Mhm.
when it's more of an adventure movie.
Yeah.
And I just wish that it would go for more of that vibe, because I understand that people are comparing this to Jaws, and there are a lot of similarities between this and Jaws with like certain characters and their actions. But if this feels more like a adventure flick
Yeah.
than a horror flick, I know people think that Jaws is an adventure flick or the horror flick, and maybe it's the creature design
Mm-hmm.
that I much care for.
And I would have liked for him to go more into the chimpanzee story
Yes.
instead of just throwing in a few flashbacks to say that this is why this kid has this collection. And like, it doesn't make, I mean, there were a few holes where I feel like they should have flushed it out a little bit better. But overall, I really liked it. It kept my interest. I was scared at a few points.
You know,
So I think it did its job.
you know, I would say shouts to Kiki Palmer and Stephen Yeun and Jenna Kaluuya. I thought they all did a really good job. They did.
I got a job for him.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah,
I'm sure you got a job on
I
your
do.
ranch.
I do.
For
I have
that.
a ranch.
All right. Yes.
I have a ranch.
So-
He can. I've got a horse he can ride.
Yeah. You what?
Wait,
Why are you going to beat us? What? Wow. Oh no!
That
Wow.
was wrong. Flip it.
I
I'm
was saying-
dyslexic.
okay.
Does that work in this instance? Can I say I'm dyslexic and then everybody says, "Oh"?
Yeah,
okay.
sure.
I'm just observing. I'm just. I'm
That was
lost
no.
here. I'll let
It's
you
okay,
guys sort that
Dwight.
out.
Sorry.
All right. So the other one, and I saw looked it up because I just saw this very recently, was Bodies, Bodies, Bodies.
You did see it?
I did go see
You
it,
jerk.
but I'll go see it again because it's a
Is it
lot of
good?
fun.
It looked like a lot of fun.
It's a very clever whodunit,
Okay.
and it's about a group of these kids who are partying at their friend's home.
Mhm.
There's a hurricane that happens, and they decide to play the game Bodies, 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 where they have to turn off the lights, and someone randomly chooses to be a killer, and they have to watch the person
And tap
that
them.
they kill, and they tap them,
They're supposed to lay on the floor and pretend to be dead.
and then people gotta find the body and yell bodies, and
Mhm.
then discover who the killer is. But whoa, there's a twist because
Somebody really dies.
someone actually ends up dead.
Yeah.
And so
What?
the whole movie is set inside this house,
Spoilers.
and the
I
and they're-
mean, it just came out.
yeah, and they're trying to discover who killed. I'm not going to tell you who gets killed, but a
Don't
person in
tell
this
us
group
that. Yes.
gets killed.
Well, that's
and
in
they
the trailer.
Just tell us who the killer is. That's
Yeah,
all.
Just,
Yeah.
if you could just whisper it to me.
No.
Oh,
No.
all right.
Yeah, and it's very clever. The only thing that I did not like about the movie is because it's all dark, which I really hate because the lights are shut off. So they're using their camera phones for the light, and it's too much shaky kind of camera, and it's a lot of darkness. So if you do see the movie, watch it in theaters because it's going to be easier to see
Mm-hmm.
the way it's lit. But I find it fun. When it's revealed what happens, that was an hysterical moment.
Okay, well, don't tell us
I'm
anymore.
not. That's all I'm going to say. But it was very.
Did
kind
they-
of fun.
I love horror comedy, so that's mine.
Did
Yeah,
they
well-
refer to them as camera phones, which would lead me to believe this was set in the late
I know.
90s, maybe?
He said that, and I thought,
no.
you mean the flashlights on our smartphone?
The only cast members I recognize from this whole thing is Pete Davidson
Mm-hmm.
and Lee Pace.
Lee Pace is in it?
Yeah,
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
I love me some Lee Pace.
there you go. Yeah, and then the
I liked
other-
him in Pushing Daisies.
Oh, yeah. What was he the main character in that?
Uh-huh.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. Okay, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah,
But
baby.
Rachel Sanat, Amanda Stenberg, Maria Baklava. I remember her. She was in Oh yeah, she played Borat's daughter in the new Borat sequel.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
You ever see the Borat 2?
No.
Okay. It's
Not
good.
that I don't think it would be good. It's just I watched Borat 1 a lot, and I feel like I don't need another Borat adventure.
It's actually a little bit
Okay.
better.
I'm okay.
All right, fair enough. I will say Borat 2 is a little bit better than Borat 1, but they're both good. Okay.
Nobody asked.
All right.
What other movies are we talking about?
All right. I just
But-
want to watch this Turn Into Red.
Oh, you
Oh.
did watch it.
Turning Red is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed that
Agreed.
one.
Yeah.
Very good. I really enjoyed it too.
I was very quite surprised by that movie, but it tugged at all the right heartstrings.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know the movie, Ashley, tell the listeners what.
Why?
Red.
Because I have a vagina? Because I menstruate?
Because I talked about the last movie.
Ugh. It's about a girl going through a change, which happens during a full moon, which doesn't make us werewolves, okay? She comes from a long line of these women who, when they mature, turn into red pandas. And they come in all different shapes and
Yeah.
sizes and personalities,
As women do.
as women do. That's
Yeah.
right.
So yeah, I
Yep.
thought it'd be very cool.
It was cute. I really liked it. I
mean,
thought it was adorable. My kids liked it too.
I like the fact that Disney did a movie about menstruation.
That's right.
And it's just in
Don't
there,
shy
and,
away
as a
from it.
part. It's really that's really awesome. It opened up a cool conversation with my 7-year-old, and
Mhm.
the other thing I liked was that it showcased the parents, the parental relationship, where
Mhm.
a lot of times I think the old trope in these movies is the parents are either evil or just idiots.
Or idiots,
Right.
Yeah.
yes.
And so in this
these
case,
were
it
nice.
shows the context, right? The context for the parents, how they are, and and she and the mom don't actually have to make the same choice at the end. They can each
Right.
have the more traditional choice or the more progressive choice and respect each other, which I thought was super cool.
Yeah. That was I did like that. Because you get to see the parents' point of view.
Hmm.
And being a parent, that really is really nice that the kids who are watching it can be like, oh, that's what parents think? Oh. All right. Well, maybe they'll have a little bit of kindness for us.
A little kindness, yes. Everyone just needs a little bit of
Hopefully.
kindness here and
Hey,
there.
So before we move on to talking about Dwight's podcast, can we take a little time out so I can go play?
Okay, go to the bathroom.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. We'll play some ad spots in this area. I'm going to sit here right now, and
you sit there.
I'm actually going to see because I can't.
Do.
Well, the weird thing is, Dwight, we have this app called Melon, and it's supposed to stream to all of our networks, but for some reason, it always just appear on the YouTube, whatever. We're supposed to have a live show for the Facebook group,
Mm.
but it didn't show up there, so I'm gonna see.
So are we still on right now?
Oh no, we've been live on YouTube for since we
Okay.
started here. But it was supposed to give me a link to the other.
Hey, how long are we going?
Oh,
I just need to check.
Oh, no. Well, we're gonna when she comes back. I do want to talk briefly about our main topic. I apologize. Sometimes.
No, it's
I'll
okay. I just
I'll
ask.
have-
I'm just checking. I'm good for like another 30.
Okay, cool. Okay, all right. I would say we'll probably be here for like another probably 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, that's good. That works.
But I appreciate you, Dwight, coming on here. And I hope you're having
Oh
fun.
yeah, it's fun. It's great to see you guys. So then all those out there on YouTube. So now we got to do ad spots, right?
Well,
So we
yeah,
gotta
so
go.
yeah.
So Vern,
Yes,
what
Dwight.
what great products have you been using lately?
Well, I'll tell you about this one great new product, and this is a shout out right now to one of our sponsors, is Newsly.me. So, Dwight, are you tired of just scrolling through the net and just wasting your fingers?
So tired.
Well, there's a new app called Newsly where you no longer have to scroll the net. You can listen to the net. Newsly is a new
Listen to
app.
it?
Yeah, Newsly is a new app for your Android or your iPhone, and a voice will read to you the internet. And it does it. What you do is you go on a Newsly, you pick your favorite topics, and then it will read to you everything that's trending or everything that you like. And
Everything on the entire
voice.
internet about that topic.
Everything.
Wow.
Everything about that topic. And they feature podcasts. Our podcast and recall is listed on there. And I know right now, if you go to newsly.me and use the promo code recall, you will get 1 month of their premium services.
That's actually pretty. This is actually really well designed for podcast fans.
Yeah.
Because not only can you listen to your podcast, it sounds like you can walk around, drive around, do the dishes, and listen to things that you usually would have to read with your eyes, which is the way podcasters like to consume media, with their ears.
Yeah. It's like the web for your ears. So again, that's newsly.me. I'll post links in the show descriptions. And then our next sponsor is ExpressVPN. Now, Dwight, don't you hate it when you go to watch a show and a movie that you really want to see? It says it's on Netflix, but oh no, it's not available in the US. It's only available in the UK.
Aha. Yes. And I know people that use these clever ways to get around that, but I don't know how to do it. It seems like it would be super complicated, Vern. I don't think little old me could ever do it.
You can. All you gotta
If only there was a product for people like me.
Trust me, Dwight, there is. It's called ExpressVPN. Go to expressvpn.com/cinemarecallpod and get 3 months of their services. You can browse the internet and a whole bunch of slew of different places. Browse Hulu in South Korea. Browse Disney Plus in India. Maybe you want to check out Pornhub in Canada. I don't know. Whatever your thing is.
Tubi in Madagascar.
Tubi in Madagascar. Just go to expressvpn.com/cinemarecallpod and you can get 3 months of that wonderful service. And now
we're back.
And now we're back to the show.
And by we, I mean me, because I weed.
And now, once again, it's 3 minutes with Ashley.
Oh, I hate this portion of the day.
Well, we have a guest here now.
We have a guest, so it's okay.
Right.
Is it your turn? Oh, wow. Usually we both go at the same time. I only Vern.
Don't take the microphone with you, Vern.
Vern, it's unnecessary. Okay, go.
So now we've
We
already
hover over the same toilet. No, I'm just kidding.
he even did the ad spots already.
He did. I heard.
Yeah. Unless there's more sponsors.
No, I've been sponsored by myself.
You
I got
know,
nothing.
self-care is important these days.
That's
and
right.
So make sure that but gosh, I'm going to accidentally turn it into an ad for BetterHelp or one of those ones that a lot of podcasts do.
Listen.
How do we get that sweet BetterHelp money? That's what I want to know.
That's right. I need some BetterHelp money. Mostly I just need some better help. Someone fucking help me. If you just email us at cinemarecall@gmail.com and I will let you know what my Venmo is. Help me. Thank you.
See that? Yeah, now you're a sponsor of the program.
That's right.
Too. Yeah.
No, you could be a sponsor too. Go ahead and you could sponsor us. Email us and for the low price of $2
the great
a
thing.
day.
The great thing about podcast sponsorship is that you're spending an hour every week in the ears of your audience.
That's
so
right.
make sure that you advertise on cinemarecall@gmail.com. Just send your credit card number and whatever it is you want us to say, and we'll go ahead and process that for whatever we feel it's worth.
That is correct. And
it's pledge drive here at Cinema Recall. These great shows, they don't make
themselves, okay? And as a recent divorcee, I'm going to tell you, we need all the help we can get. I don't even have money for childcare. Okay, I have to bring my kids with me.
So if you donate now,
I could maybe get a babysitter.
Cinema Recall tote bags that you can.
I will make one for you.
There. Do you guys have merch?
It's an old Target bag that I wrote Cinema Recall on.
That is merch. That's merch right there.
I think that's merch. I think so.
I always forget the link to my merch shop, but there's one of
I'm on one of those
Teesprings. Oh, you should set one up. You just go on Teespring or one of those, and you can put art, and they just put it on whatever people want to buy. Nice. T-shirts or mugs or bags or cats or whatever they want to get.
Cats. Come get your cats.
Yeah. Logoed pets.
That's right.
I think that's one of the features in Johnny Mnemonic. I think that's what the
main.
Logoed pet? Yeah, I think logoed pets is the main thrust of that movie, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Well, that's so smart.
It's not a very memorable movie, so
No, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna move this BH hole over here.
Okay.
All right, and then this should stay up better because it's not as end heavy, right?
Okay.
Now. Oh, but Vern, you took it for a ride a minute ago.
Sorry.
It got
this is the behind the scenes
That's right.
Listen, to be able to the how to podcast portion.
I'm tech support as well.
So, welcome back, everyone.
Welcome back, Vern.
To the Cinema
from
Recall
the toilet.
Thank you, everybody.
You're welcome.
So, I want to have Dwight Hurst on here because he hosts a mental health podcast.
Yeah, it's about time we got to him.
Yes.
Jeez.
So, our topic I want to discuss with you is about content warnings in movies and shows.
Is a very interesting topic. I actually did some research about it today and found some things that are pretty interesting. So you tell me if you want to dive on in or
dive on in, buddy.
I was kind of wondering which things that you were, when you're saying content warnings, are we talking like, because one of the ways I'm most familiar with this is like social media postings or articles, things like that. But you're talking also with films and putting something up that's like trigger warning, : space, The Thing. That's usually what they look like.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm all for having content warnings for certain shows, but sometimes I feel like it goes a little bit too far to the point where I feel like it's going to spoil what happens.
Yeah, that is kind of like.
And that, I think that's a really interesting point, because sometimes when you look at like content awareness, even on like IMDb. If you're thinking of taking your kids to a movie, or you want to be selective about what you're watching and what you're exposed to, you go down and you scroll and it's like, oh, violence, severe, mild, whatever. And it is interesting because when you open that up, it's like, a main character stabs a guy who's actually a secondary character wearing a red jacket in the second scene or something like that. I haven't seen one, maybe not quite that specific, but it's like
I feel like with the ratings board, we usually just have things that says this contains, adult language,
mature themes,
nudity,
smoking,
and then I got to the point now where it had like weather peril. Like we have like a warning in movies because there was like intense weather.
You guys look out.
There's like one thing that says intense weather, just intense description of weather.
On the movie called Hurricane.
Yes.
They wanted everyone to know.
But
yeah. Michael Douglas's Black Rain, I know, had famously.
Twister.
Well, there's an example too, like when they showed Rush Hour not too long ago, they had to put a disclaimer that said, this is not how people of the Orient actually act. Or
wait, they said the Orient?
They said the Orient? Wow.
I don't think so.
No, not. I'm paraphrasing
Asian culture.
Asian culture,
probably.
Well, but they also had something to say too about how the movie viewed, African Americans, and it had to someone apologize for the way that Chris Tucker acts, saying that.
Yeah.
It's
there's warnings. There's warnings they put on things now for things that are now problematic, right? And I think Rush Hour 2 in particular, you could say trigger warning, problematic, in many ways. Although, I remember laughing a lot during it, but I was thinking about watching it the other day, like, oh, I remember several parts that it's like, that may not have aged well, as they say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yes, because the movie Rush Hour, it does feature Chris Tucker doing a very stereotypical impersonation of what he thinks, a homosexual man sounds like. So he does that.
Sure.
But the thing that Chris Tucker, he's an idiot in that show, in those series. He's not like a smart guy. So I never found
a lot of like pretty heavy sexual harassment in both of those movies too. From I would say all three, but no one saw the third one. I don't think anybody.
Exactly. They go to France in that one.
They go to France?
Yeah, it's not that good. I saw it. Yeah.
Speaking of weather peril, I remember when that movie came out, one of the worst things that happened weather-wise was there was a hurricane in the Midwest that actually blew a couple of people into the theater. And they actually ended up watching Rush Hour 3. That was the biggest tragedy of the year, weather-wise.
Wow, that's some rough weather when you get blown into the theater to see.
No, but it is, it is interesting to see warnings that are on materials that have maybe were created in a very different time. And I know Disney Plus has done this. I think it's interesting to throw some things on there, like before Peter Pan, to say, hey, remember this was made a long time. Remember how this was made a long time ago?
Oh, Lord in heaven. Yes, we do. Yes.
Yeah.
If you didn't remember, you're gonna in a minute.
You're gonna you're gonna see
something
and you're gonna say, Lord.
Yeah.
Why was that ever okay?
I just kind of feel like, hey, look, we were a very different time back then. Just to say, okay, it's the past, folks. We've done some really stupid shit. We apologize. We're white. We're dumb. I'm sorry.
We're
one of the things, though, and I think people of our generation and older are the ones that bitch about that the most. I hear people complain about that when they're saying, like, oh, well, they shouldn't say this. Peter Pan was always my favorite movie. Don't you love the, whatever they say, they pretend to like Song of the South, even though they've never seen it. And you get that kind of like that they want to push back on this kind of stuff. But one of the things that I think is necessary about a warning like that is good is the young up and coming generation. They won't appreciate these old things at all unless you paraphrase a little and say, I know. Right. No, because, the more progressive youth that are coming up, they'll just watch that and be like, that was really terrible, because it's hard to watch it in a different context. Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, why shouldn't they say it's racist? Because
because the fuck it was. Goddamn.
Sure.
But I think to Vern's point, it's the way that they phrase the warning that gives away part of the movie, right? Because we're not saying that like it's bad that Disney would say, "Hey, there's some weird shit in here. Sorry, we were really fucked up back then, and we apologize." That's different than like what was the latest movie that you saw that gives away the movie, and that then you might as well not even watch it. Just read the synopsis.
I guess
it
was
violence
save
and
yourself
gore.
2 hours.
And
The main character is shot in the head in the last 5 seconds of the movie.
That's right.
Oh,
okay,
thanks.
so I watched the show on Netflix called The Patrav, that Mike Myers show.
Oh, blah, blah, blah.
All right.
I
And
like Mike Myers.
at after every episode, it says, "Warning: this contains adult situations, flashing lights, and suicide." So I'm thinking
every episode he's looking for suicide.
I'm thinking
every episode
someone is going to like, kill themselves in a graphic way. No, they just mentioned the word suicide. Like a character mentions about it, and I had no idea that was a trigger word for some people. And I'm worried that are we going to have content warnings for people who just use the word of something that's problematic? Like if another character talks about slavery and without even just show any descriptions of slavery, just someone mentioned the word slavery, is that going to be a trigger warning? If it's going to be someone talking about any type of like sexual assault, will that just be a trigger warning for others just to hear the
interesting.
word?
Yeah, and with these, and this comes up on like Obi-Wan and Stranger Things. Just included, they chose to include warnings about school shootings, essentially, and things like that. So it is really interesting. And I'm going to throw something out there that I discovered, and there's at least two major studies that were launched, because trigger warnings are always argued about. People are like, "Oh, what are we doing to our snowflake kids?" They get those guys. They all sound like that. And then you got other people.
They do.
You've got
I've heard at the bar.
On the other extreme, right? On the other extreme, left, I should say.
Right.
Yeah. On the other extreme, you got people that are like, "Hey, you should throw a trigger warning on every social media post. It's like trigger warning, animal, coughed or something." So you've got kind of these extreme reactions people have. So a team of psychologists decided, "Hey, why don't we actually study this?" And so in 2021 and 2020, there are a couple studies released. I don't want to get them mixed up. One of them was done by Harvard. And then the other one was in the Journal of Clinical Psychology by Jones, Bellett, McNally. So one of the things that they found is they took people who had been through lived trauma experience, and then they had them read passages that contained, triggers. And some of these groups, they gave them trigger warnings first, and some of them they did not. So keep in mind, this is written material. These weren't films. But they found that afterwards, when they measured their own like physiological reactions, and they had them fill out questionnaires that are designed to pull out, PTSD triggered, feelings, they found that it mostly made no difference in the majority of people, whether or not they were triggered, whether or not there was a trigger warning, except that there were some people who took it worse with the trigger warning.
They knew it was coming, so they probably had anxiety built up.
So there was a buildup of anxiety. Now, you could say in a visual medium that might be much more, that I would love to see that studied, right? To see, but one of the things they said is one of the, let me read there's a quote here. One reason this effect may be concerning is that trauma researchers have previously established that a belief that trauma is central to one's identity predicts more severe PTSD. Dr. Bellett calls this, quote, one of the most well-documented relationships in traumatology. So, there is a risk there of overwarning, and those that are in the audience who have had trauma are like, "Oh yeah, that's me. I'm trauma." Right. That's me. That's my whole thing. So I'm not going to say that that's conclusive evidence of anything. That's not how studies work. But it is an interesting beginning to say, how much good does a trauma? I mean, if a trigger warning actually doesn't do any good, then why are we using it?
Yeah. Right. And that's a good point too. Like I've had, friends of mine, and I know there's certain movies that I would never show them. I mean, I had a friend who was essentially assaulted. I'm not going to show her the girl with the drinking tattoo, even though it's a good movie and everything. Just knowing that there's a certain scene in there, but nope, I wouldn't be able to show her that because she would be very upset and get nervous, and she would hate me as a friend forever. So I'm not going to do that.
Which might not even be true.
Which true, yeah, that's true. I really don't know for sure, but I would just be hesitant. I would say please research the movie beforehand, and that's what I tell people to do. I want them, if they are
so your trigger warning. What you're doing is you're just not even you're like, I'm putting up a trigger wall, and I'm not even going to tell my friend how great this movie is.
Oh, it's
because
fair.
You're worried about her reaction.
I would be.
Or you don't want to be the one to do it.
Yeah, it's not going to be him.
How about this?
That's not me.
I will say yes. Go watch the movie. Actually, watch the Swedish version than the American version. Even though both are very good, but please kind of do a little reading beforehand. Or is that still
new sponsor Coca-Cola?
No, I was fucking around.
Okay.
Coke Zero,
Sorry.
new sponsor of the program.
Oh,
that's right.
Go to CokeZero.com/Cinema Recall to sign up for the crate service of Coke Zero today.
That's right. We get a portion of every sale.
No, I think to your point, Vern, I think that one of the things it can do. And certainly there are things that, like, if they're offensive or a trigger for certain people, it probably is good to incorporate that. I also think it can trigger a conversation, though, to trigger a conversation to say, hey, I think this is a great movie. I really think you'd like it. There is a scene of violence in it that is this type of violence. And, just so you know, and sometimes people can have a conversation about that. One thing I've noticed is working with people who have had traumatic or major life changes. When they go, and they almost all say this, there's so many things that are used so often as jokes, like in comedies or in dramas, like basically all of the tropes that they rely on as shortcuts for emotional, like a spouse dying, a child dying, an affair, drug use, of those types of things, legal problems. If you have any of those things happen in your life, it will feel like it's like when you buy a red car and you look around and like all cars are red, right? Yeah. So that is something that people do get triggered. And just a warning, it's like we'd be putting it on every, any sitcom, any movie. And it's like, so it is interesting how people do experience that.
I guess I get worried that if a lot of people just only see the problematic moments in a movie or show, and that's the only thing they're going to see. Because there are movies from the past that had bad descriptions of other races sometimes or other sexes, but it's a character being racist and dumb. I don't think if a movie has a character who's racist and dumb, then people should not think that the whole movie is that way just because of a character's bigotry. Instead of that character's bigotry adds more to the movie. For example, there's a movie called the Billboard, the one with Frances McDormand, the 3,000 Billboards.
Birth of a Nation, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, no. See, no. You're not going to be canceled here. So
your favorite movie? Wow,
not enough.
Bold take.
No, we can't get canceled if people aren't even watching.
That's probably true. That's true.
Who's canceling us? Ourselves?
Yeah, it's ourselves here.
We're shut down.
Don't worry, we're not streaming.
But the 10,000 billboards across Missouri, something.
10,000 billboards.
That's a lot.
Right, yeah.
There's not a lot going on in Missouri, just billboards.
But there's a character played by Sam Rockwell in that who is a racist person, but he's a racist who has character developments and discovers, not to be as racist as he was before. And he kind of learns a few things along the way.
Isn't that Sam Rockwell plays another like white supremacist guy. I'm gonna have to look it up. Okay. He plays the same thing, and then he becomes friends with his adversary, which is a black woman in this movie.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
I can't think of it.
Yes.
Is it? And I don't think it's Viola Davis. It's somebody else.
You may be right with that. And
but yeah, Same thing, right? So what you're saying,
yeah.
are you trying to say?
Okay, so when this movie came out and he was getting a lot of award praise for this movie, there was one certain film critic podcaster who I'm not going to mention right now, but they mentioned that it's not right for him to be getting all this praise because what this movie is doing is that it's somewhat celebrating racist culture by having this character have this arc. And I'm like, well, that's what movies do. People have arcs and they change, and someone who was once racist before can change for better. And I just worry that people are going to look at this movie saying that it's just racism and just
Well, I think, yeah,
crazy nuts.
I also, I mean, I'm of the mindset that not all movie characters need to be good people and need to do good things, right? Even sometimes protagonists. Now, that's a very tricky line to walk because it's easy. I mean, we see it enough where people who think Tyler Durden's a hero, right? Or people who think that, whatever, they look at something and it's like it can't help but glorify. So I do think there's a fine line to walk and it needs to be done intelligently. As you were saying that Alan Tudyk's character in 42 came to mind. Do you remember? Alan Tudyk has a very brief cameo where the only thing he does is spew hateful, racist shit at Jackie.
In 42.
Right.
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
That's the only thing he does. He appears on screen and he's just yelling racist, hateful stuff at Jackie Robinson. And now the way that they play it is another player, he has to restrain himself because if he does anything, it's going to be all over the papers, right? But then another player goes up and tells him to shut up. And I was like, man, now, you got to feel, I do anyway, I feel a little bit for Alan Tudyk. It's like, yeah, we just need you for a day's shooting. Here's your lines. The only thing you're going to say, oh my gosh.
Raging racist.
Yes.
Right. But to say, that's an important part of the message of that movie. And because the other thing that I think makes that work though, is they didn't, like some movies I feel like they're like, once we cross that line, we're just going to lean on it. And every character is going to use the N-word all the time. And they kind of used this to be a microcosm, a picture of things that you knew were happening, but were mostly being said, not on screen. So they didn't have to use the hateful language throughout, I think. So, it's a fine line. And sometimes you see people using triggering things just as a trope to elicit a reaction. Or you get the sense that maybe even the director kind of likes it or the writer kind of likes it. And that turns me off usually.
Okay. I know some people made example would be probably Django Unchained and Tarantino's use of the N-word throughout there. And I know I've seen interviews with Samuel Jackson defending it and other actors defending the use of the word. And I've got no issues if it's used correctly in a movie, and it kind of depends on the historical context of the show that I'm watching as well. I don't want to try to censor anyone's right to use certain words or have characters use certain words, but I just don't want people to think that just because a character is using somewhat problematic language, then the whole movie itself is problematic. Because I find Django Unchained to be a very kind of uplifting story. Especially, I love the revisionist of that time of slavery and about one slave who just goes off and kills a bunch of slave owners. That's just, for me, very satisfying. And I saw that movie with basically an all-black audience, and it was just a very kind of fun movie to watch. Everyone just laugh and cheer and just enjoy those races.
I have never really seen it, but yeah, I mean that's the thing is it's like, and I think that it's whenever there's balance, but balance doesn't mean perfectly balanced. It means, and people are taking some chances, so it's kind of hard. One thing I wanted to say before we're done though is.
Yeah.
I've found that sometimes in the IMDb section, when you go down to, it's in the parents guide is where they have it. And when you go to that one, I've noticed that the majority of the ones I've checked out, you do have to watch for that, but oftentimes they do label the ones that are more spoilery. Now it's not always perfect, but so that one I've found to be a little safer when it's like, I kind of want to know what's going to be in it, but I
Yeah.
don't want spoilers, then you don't click on the spoilers, And
That's fair.
so, I think that helps a little when people are trying to do this. But
Yeah.
I think it's interesting. It's an interesting topic.
Yeah. And so I just wanted to bring it out there to people that please, would you, and I guess this is also for other podcasters too, when you are talking about a movie or a show, and it's okay if you can it's okay to address things that may not have aged well, but don't spend too much time on it, because that's going to kind of take me out of the movie. Because if I'm going to listen to your podcast about a movie that you like, and you spend 20 minutes talking about support the crimes that either director or an actor has done. Look, I already know that stuff. I saw it on the internet. I don't need to know any more about it, because I've already read it. I'm on this thing because I want to talk about the movie itself, like the actual storyline of the movie. I know already about the bullshit that happened. Like, if I want to see, if I want to do a podcast all about The Usual Suspects, and they spend 20 minutes talking about Kevin Spacey, I'm just going to be like, all right, no, I'm sorry. Because I like The Usual Suspects. I like all the other characters in there, and I don't need to have 20 minutes talking about all the stuff that Kevin Spacey's done. You can just mention like one thing about what you did. Or Beetlejuice. I love Beetlejuice. But if you talk about 20 minutes about Jeffrey Jones and his crimes, I'm going to be like, yes, and I totally admit he's a creep, but just say Jeffrey Jones, he's a creep, and then just like move on. Talk about Winona Ryder and how great she is. And
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton,
Yeah. And Catherine O'Hara. All of the good parts.
All the good things. The Deo,
Yeah, the Deo.
Alec Baldwin, maybe. I think he's in
Alec
that.
Baldwin, yeah. Alec Baldwin, Gina Davis, yeah.
Oh, wait. Maybe
duh!
Alec Baldwin, yeah,
Oh
he's
my
a big
God.
character, yes.
I know, but I just kept imagining Third Rock.
30 Rock.
30 Rock.
Yes.
30 Rock, Alec Baldwin. I'm like,
oh my gosh, that's
not the fat guy at the table.
Different.
Do you remember that show, Third Rock from the Sun?
Oh, that's right. He's the dead husband. He was young, and I forgot what he looked like for just a fucking minute.
Third Rock from the Sun was great.
That was a great show. I want a combination of 30 Rock and Third Rock from the Sun.
That would be amazing. Just imagine French Stewart, who also, I guess, is a piece of garbage.
Is he French because he's garbage?
I don't know. I guess he's racist.
Are you saying because he's French?
Yeah, that's right.
All French people are pieces of garbage now? You heard it, folks.
I don't want to paint with a broad brush, but...
But that's all we have to paint with here in France.
I think this is a topic that we'd probably spend many hours discussing.
Just so you know, we're no longer on topic.
We're not at top. Well,
no, we rolled off topic.
You're just like for French people? Wow, that's another hot take from Vern.
Vern's like, I won't even need the French
Vern
fry.
could spend hours bagging on the French, I guess.
I would not. I love the
French.
I
like French toast.
Julie Delpy.
I like French baguettes. I love the movie Chocolat.
Chocolate. Julie Binoche.
It's called
She's not
Chocolat.
bad.
And also, no, we were supposed to be talking about trigger warnings, and all of a sudden now you're talking about racist.
I'm not. Ow!
Racist issues in movies. That's a totally different topic.
But that racist issues in movies is a trigger warning for some. Yeah.
Correct. It is. But then I think you went down. You went all squirrely brained.
I did.
And that's okay. We go off the rails sometimes.
Okay. That's good.
So,
it's all good.
But
it's all good.
Where was
But what I really thought was interesting is how the studies that they have done, it made no difference.
Yeah,
and
it really made no difference in people for most people.
And I think you're right. If they did a study where it was viewing,
that would be interesting to see how different that might be, right? Because if you're going to see it happen, and to me, to me, the biggest difference is whether you say something happens, like if you say there's a scene of sexual assault, it's also probably good to know if it's like mentioned and discussed, or if it is like, boy, there's like 5 solid minutes of flashbacks interspersed with graphic descriptions. Like that's way different than saying like the after effects in a hospital where a policeman's interviewing someone. So some of those things might be worthwhile, but then again, we don't know until they hopefully they do study that, and then we have an idea of if it's helpful or not helpful, because we could be doing harm without meaning to, according to these
usually
studies.
when I see a warning that says this show contains extreme of violence, including sexual assault and rape and whatnot, then I'm pretty sure they're going to show something.
Right. I think that, yeah. So, well,
and that's all. Right. That's basically what is.
I guess my main takeaway is just, I don't think there's anything wrong with trigger warnings. What I don't want them to do is reveal plot points and like things that happen in the movie that I just think you can just paint
you
with a
can
broad
just
brush in this
give
instance.
the theme.
Yeah.
Give the theme.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
like
Yeah.
violence, sexual violence, racism,
Mhm.
drug use, and I think that should cover it. Like
Yeah.
you don't have to be
Yeah.
specific. You can paint with a broad brush when it comes to content warning.
Yes. I just get kind of worried. We're getting to a point where people who have a fear of balloons will need to have a trigger warning because they have like red
Latex,
balloon.
latex.
So that's a real fear.
I know.
And that's the way.
Warning, frogs.
Frogs.
That's me.
Yeah. See. Okay.
I don't like frogs.
So I can't show the movie Magnolia because there's a lot of frogs. In
Oh,
that.
ish.
So yeah,
No,
she's
please don't. I got the heat.
Yeah. See. Yeah.
Ew.
The wind in the willows.
Yeah.
Ooh.
See. Yeah.
No, can't do it, man. I got literal chill. Like you can't see, but I have goosebumps all
Yeah.
down my legs, all down my arms.
Yeah.
I just want to puke.
Oh.
So gross.
But Dwight, thank you
Yes, thank you.
so
This
much
has been
here.
Great.
Real quickly, before we go, tell us what's going to be happening at the Broken Brains podcast.
It's a pretty exciting time over at the Broken Brain podcast, doing a couple of fun things that are coming up. We just did our first Broken Brain book club last month, and we're going to do another meeting of that. We have to pick a book.
What book did you pick this time?
We took well, we don't have a new one yet. That's the thing, but we
okay.
got A Stream Too Far was the one we just did. It was a World War II historical fiction about PTSD, written by a psychiatrist turned novelist, and he joined us to discuss the book. Also, I'm doing on the 31st of August is Overdose and Fentanyl Awareness Day, where, for those that don't know, we're in the midst of a real epidemic the last couple of years, increasing numbers of fentanyl influenced overdose deaths for people who are either using drugs or in some cases even the first time. There's many very toxic fake opioids that are out there that are even more dangerous than opioids or heroin. The fentanyl will kill people, and it is. And so anyway, but for that, I'm actually doing a live broadcast for about a 5-hour long live broadcast. The first time I've done this. It's going to be like our radio show, hopefully. And I'm going to be publishing the StreamYard link so people can join. I've got a lot of former guests I'm inviting. You guys are invited as well. Anyone who wants to jump on even for a few minutes and just share. Yeah. So it's going to be between, it's basically like, I think it's like 10 o'clock my time up to like 5 p.m. or 3 p.m. Whatever the 5-hour thing is. So like till 3 p.m. my time, which I'm in Mountain Standard. So it's like noon to 5 Eastern. So anyway, we're just going to see. I have a lot of materials to share and hopefully I have a lot of guests that are going to be jumping on. So that's something you can if you follow me on socials, you'll see where the StreamYard link is. So
and what's the date of that again?
Wednesday the 31st.
Wednesday the 31st.
And that's the night of our gig.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So,
I was going to ask you, are you taking donations? Are you donating to what are you doing? Or are you just talking about
just raising awareness, just getting people talking about it. Sure. A couple of people who are the hosts of a podcast that I produce with the Wiseman Method Detox Center are going to be joining me for some time as well. And they've started a hashtag of, I think it's Break the Silence. And so just basically to get some awareness going, and hopefully people can share some of their stories and experiences or just some of their thoughts and, get some suggestions out there of ways to watch out for loved ones.
Cool.
You can, if you don't mind, I'll give my social that people can follow.
Please do. Thank you. Yeah.
People can follow that and find out about it. Following on Twitter at Break-A-Brain. You can also go to facebook.com/Break-A-Brain for the Facebook group, or just started an Instagram, and that one Break-A-Brain was taken. So I had to go with at Brainiacs Ahoy.
I love it.
Brainiacs Ahoy.
Brainiacs.
I like that. I like it.
Yeah,
Brainiacs are what I call the listeners when I talk to them, which
cool.
I do every episode.
Nice.
That's what an episode is of a podcast.
I love
So
it.
thank you for letting me share that, guys.
I will be sure to post links when the podcast episode goes live on our website cinemarecall.net and also on other platforms such as Apple Podcasts and Good Pods and Spotify, a whole bunch of places there.
Any place you tune
Any
in.
place, yes.
Yeah, any place you tune
We're
in for podcasts.
We are on Audible.
Mhm.
We're also available on Amazon Music.
Amazon Music.
If you have an Alexia account,
Alexia.
Alexa, sorry.
Okay.
Alexa account.
I just wanted to be sure that this isn't something weird that maybe just you have subscribed to. I don't know what this Alexia is.
Sorry, I don't know.
I'm gonna.
Sorry, but if you have Alexa and you say, "Hey Alexa, play Cinema Recall podcast," it'll play our latest episode.
That's
Awesome.
right.
So that's very cool. Big shout out right now to, first of all, thank you, Dwight.
Thank you, Dwight.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I'm super interested to start really diving into your podcast catalog.
Thank you.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
very
good
good.
I'm
stuff.
gonna
I think
pop
you'll like
on
it.
my
Thank
swim
you.
cap and beam,
Dive on in.
right in. Dive on in, baby.
Before we go,
All
I
right.
gotta give a
Thanks,
shout out to one
guys.
of our Patreon
Hey,
subscribers.
thank you.
So you can, if you gotta go,
Thanks.
that's cool. But I'm gonna give a
Okay,
shout
yeah,
out.
I gotta run, but thank you so much for having me.
Dwight.
Bye, Dwight.
See you
Thank
later.
you.
Dwight.
Bye.
Peace out, buddies. All right. So shout out to Dwight as always.
Mhm.
Big shout out to our Patreon subscribers because I gotta do this every episode.
Every episode.
As best I can, to the
That's
top
right.
of my head. All right, first of all, let me get my
Take a
drink.
little swill, a little sipperoo.
All right. Shouts right now to Jason Soto from Whole Podcast. Sorry. Yeah. Shout out to Jason
Jason
Soto.
Soto at the Rabbit Hole Podcast.
Shout out to Leonard Castro from Bed Knobs and Broomflicks.
Broomflicks.
Thank you to Donnie.
Matt and Ashley at the movies. Matt Ashley at the movies.
But yes, Matt and Ashley from Ashley at the Movies.
Uh-huh.
Donnie Roberts.
Yep.
From he wrote that book, The Deep Sea Anthologies.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Did I mention Chris Revel? No, I did not.
No, Chris Revel of the Let's Chat podcast.
Chris Revel, Let's Chat podcast. Yes. Then we got.
Let me do something.
Okay.
I'm just gonna talk over you. Keep going.
Jeanette McInham
Uh-huh.
from AK Jeanette.
Yeah. What's up, Jeanette?
And then lastly,
Uh-huh.
Harvey
Andros,
from
your ex-girlfriend, which is our band, and we are playing Wednesday, October 31st, 9 p.m. at Mortimer's, and I always want to say McGillicuddy's, but that is incorrect.
Yes.
Mortimer's.
So if you're
Come on down.
if you're in the Minnesota area, we will
Swing on over.
But yeah,
If you like some sweet, sweet No Doubt, you come on
I think
by.
I still have a video of our last. Someone posted a
This will be
professional
better
video.
than the last one.
We'll be okay.
Really?
Someone posted a professional video of us
No.
doing the song.
Professional?
Well, I would say professional in that it had a
Somebody
better camera.
posted it for us, and they recorded it, and we appreciate that.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so you did see that. Okay.
I didn't, but I'm taking your word for
But
it.
I'm gonna post that on the YouTubes.
Ooh, yay.
Yeah,
I hope this next one will be better.
Yeah.
That was my first one ever.
You were nervous, but you'll be good.
I
I think.
was nervous.
yeah.
I'm not nervous anymore.
See, we'll be doing good. Yes, and I know after I leave this recording, there's gonna be other shit that I forgot to say.
Yep.
If I forgot to give you a mention, I apologize. We'll do that on the next episode. Anyways, don't forget to check us out, cinemarecall.net.
Yep.
Don't forget to check out the other podcast that we're doing, Tales from the Double R at rabbitholepodcast.com.
And if Vern forgot about you, send your strongly worded letters
to
to
cinemarecall at gmail.com.
Yep, that's right. And just in the subject line, write Vern, you prick.
Frick, you dick,
Yep.
you whore.
Yeah, that's right.
All right.
How
That's-
dare you forget me? And
I-
then you lay into them, you guys. I'll be reading them on our next podcast.
See. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye. You have to turn it off.
Right.
This. Oh, am I the producer? So I have to. Okay.
Could you?
Yeah, I can do it. Whoa. Calm down, everybody. Calm down. Let's see. How do I do it? Bye. Bye. Damn it, Vern. I don't know what I'm doing. This is new. Hold on. You guys, I can almost do it.